Good morning, students. Welcome to the second year of civil engineering. I'm Vanessa Fernandez, and I'll be taking the subject planning and functional design of buildings. So it's a 3-credit course. Okay, so coming to the course objectives, we need to understand the principles of building planning, importance of bylaws in construction, what is the concept of energy efficient buildings. Then we need to understand what you mean by acoustical design concepts and noise control techniques. Also understand the concept of natural and artificial lighting designs. Then principles of climatic design of buildings with emphasis on tropical climate. We also need to understand thermophysical properties of building materials and design of shading devices. So these are the course objective of the subject. Coming to the syllabus, so we need to in introduction we need to understand what is building planning, what are bylaws, very important rules. Okay, these are the rules which we need to follow in the construction. What do you mean by conceptual and functional planning? What do you mean by introduction? What do you mean by energy efficient buildings? So introduction to energy efficient buildings we'll be studying. Coming to the next subtopic is on acoustics. So in acoustics we'll be studying physics of sound, behavior of sound, sound insulation, reverberation, control. Next topic is on lighting. Under lighting we'll be studying different principles of lighting such as day lighting and artificial lighting. Okay, the various design methods. Then next topic is on thermal design of buildings. In thermal design of buildings, the climatic elements classification, okay, thermal comfort and indices, solar radiations, okay, various calculations and design of shading devices. Next is thermophysical properties of building materials and thermal control, okay, passive and active building design. Next is steady and periodic heat flow through building envelope, and finally the concept of green buildings. Okay, so these are the references, various references listed here. So I will suggest to you all references which you all need to refer for the subject. First one is the M.G. Shah book. Okay, M.G. Shah, C.M. Kale and S.Y. Patki, Building Drawing, Tata McGraw-Hill publication. Next is M. David Egan, Architectural Acoustics, okay, Rose Publishing, 2007. Then National Building Code, 2016. Need to refer this, Bureau of Indian Standards. Okay, so coming to introduction. So we need to know the concept of planning, very important. What is the concept of planning? What is planning all about? So planning is based on a theory of thinking before acting. Okay, so planning is an integral part of our life. So we all make plans in each and every step of life. So planning is the most basic and primary function of management. It is the pre-decided outline, okay, of activities to be conducted in the organization. So planning is a process, okay, of deciding when, where, okay, and how to do a certain activity before the start of the work. So it is an intellectual process which needs a lot of thinking before the formation of plans. So all other functions, okay, of management is useless if there is not a proper planning system in an organization. And so while planning any type of building, okay, be it residential building or industrial building, okay, an architect or an engineer has to pay attention to various considerations such as the owner's requirements. So what is the owner's requirements? He has to jot it down on the paper. Then characteristics of the building site. Okay, he has to know that what is the characteristic of the building site. Then various rules and regulations, okay, and various and bylaws. Very important is the bylaws. These are the rules, okay, which is prepared by various authorities. So we need to strictly follow this bylaws in construction. So all this information is collected, carefully checked, okay, and then drawings are prepared based on the above consideration. So what do you mean by planning of a building? What's the definition of planning? So it is arrangement of all units of buildings on all the floors, okay, which will take into consideration the height and level to accommodate the spaces which are enclosed by walls, floors and the roofs. Next is the approach to planning. So when you start to plan a building, what considerations you will take into mind? So there are different stages here. First one is a design for safety. So under this design for safety, we have structural safety, we have health safety, we have fire safety, we have constructional safety. Okay, now the important decisions which are related to the structural design, they are taken by studying the site data and holding discussions with architects, consultants, okay, clients, okay, with reference to the site investigation report, site contours and features, okay, soil and its bearing capacity. So what do you mean by bearing capacity? It's a capacity of the soil to withstand the load which is applied to the ground. Okay, then foundation problems, the structures, then building acts and regulations for the structural design and safety. So all this comes in design for structural safety. Then coming to health safety, potable water supply, garbage removal system, okay, drainage system, provision to avoid contamination, stagnation of water. So all this we need to keep in mind while in health safety. Then comes fire safety, like fire resistant construction, provision of fire detectors, okay, fire safety plan, okay, all this we need to consider. Then coming to constructional safety, now safety during construction work and foundation work below the ground level. Then anti-termite treatment, okay, anti-termite treatment for the soil and foundation, testing and approval of materials, then testing of the concrete cubes. Like we also have a lab for this, like material testing lab. We'll be studying the testing of the concrete cubes, like how to test the quality of the concrete cubes by using universal testing machine. Okay, we'll be studying compression test on concrete. Okay, that is a lab test which will be conducting in the material testing lab. So safety of workers and first aid. Next, coming to the stage 2A, that is design for comforts to achieve livability. So design for livability with minimum use of, okay, electrical energy for ventilation, air conditioning, provision of openings to admit maximum daylight, okay, to avoid glare and for ventilation. Then selection of suitable materials to achieve thermal comfort. Okay, so design for this livability is done for design for thermal comfort. Okay, then design for ventilation comfort, design for air conditioning, design for lighting, design for noise and acoustics. Okay, design for protection against moisture. Okay, and design for building services. Next, coming to design of coming to interior designing. Okay, so livability is finally achieved through the interior designing, interior designers work, okay, which will decide the color, texture, then pattern for flooring, ceiling, wall surface, okay, and all visible objects such as equipments like electrical fans, fittings. Okay, then stage to C, landscaping and indoor plants. So landscaping and indoor plants for achieving utility in the total design and giving its aesthetic pleasure, all is done by this landscape architect. After this stage, we have the final check by the architect. So the architect will check the drawings and he will execute it for the construction. Next, we have the different stages in construction process and the role of different agencies. Okay, we have different agencies in construction. So first one is the role of the coordinator. Okay, so the owner and builder, he will perform the role of the coordinator. Okay, the architect will become his representative. So in case the owner, the builder, okay, he will not have any technical background yet he has to perform the functions with the help with the he has to perform the functions with the cooperation of various experts, okay, like consultants and specialists. So satisfaction of the client with efficient planning and completion of the project within minimum time without affecting the quality should be the main aim of the promoter and the builder. Okay, then comes the role of the legal consultant. Now, a legal consultant, he is useful for verifying the title of the land with further processing of this sale deed and registration. So, hence both the promoter and the owner of the land should take the help of common and experienced lawyers, they are known as the legal consultants, to look after all the legal matters. The legal advice relates to transactions such as purchase of land, okay, sale deed, registration of sale deed, okay, all this he needs to take into consideration. Okay, this is the role of the legal consultant. Next is the role of the architect. So the architect, he will take into consideration the owner's requirements, he will make a list of them, he will visit the site, and he will prepare the preliminary plans and estimates. So the scheme prepared by the architect is presented to the client by preparing the drawings, okay, and other documents such as the layout plan and the perspective plan. Okay, next is the model of the scheme of the buildings. Okay, then brochures. Okay, brochures showing details like plan, perspective, layout, the site plan, specifications, okay, then names of the consultants and other details. Then he will also have submission drawings for submitting the scheme to the plan sanctioning authority. Okay, then working drawings and the architectural drawings, then drawings and details from the structural engineer, so structural engineer's drawings and details, then landscaping, okay, landscaping drawings, then record drawings after the completion of the project to be handed over to the society or association for future references. Okay, so all this things architect will take into consideration. Okay, next is the role of a planning engineer. So what is this planning engineer's role? So the role of planning engineer is mainly to support the project manager and the project team with information to execute the project in time and within the budget allotted. So preparation of the project schedule covering entire scope and within defined timelines, like calculating the optimal material required, then manpower requirement and machinery, then plan for the budget required for the project to monitor the expenses, then coordinate with various departments of engineering, like who will provide the working drawings, okay, procurements, like who will buy the materials, then who will check the quality, then he will collect the periodic updates, and he will prepare a daily, weekly and monthly updates of the project. Then finally he will create the project closing report. So it's the role of the planning engineer. Next, coming to stages at construction process. Okay, I will just write it here and show it to you all. The flow chart I will draw. Okay, so first one, as I told you, is the owner. Okay, the owner, he will appoint the architect. So appointment of architect. Okay, after appointment of architect, he will appoint structural engineers. Okay, then estimates and tender documents will be prepared. Okay, then contractor will be appointed. Okay, so appointment of contractor. Okay, then work will commence. So commencement of work. Okay, then periodical supervision of payments to the contractor. So payments of bills to contractor. Okay, payments of bills to the contractor, to the structural engineers, specialists, etc. Then completion certificate. Okay, certificate of completion. Then after the work is done, okay, so certificate of completion after the work is done, work will, after payment of bills, work will get completed. Then completion certificate. Then finally final bill will be prepared. Final bill. Okay, so after the payment of bills, okay, payment of bills, work is completed. After the completion of work, completion certificate will be issued, and after that final bill will be prepared. So here, okay, after appointment of the architect will sketch plans. Okay, he will prepare what? Presentation drawings. Okay, then he will take, very important, approval of the owner. Okay, so then after presentation drawings, he will prepare submission drawings. Okay, he will take approval of the sanctioning authority such as municipality, municipal corporation, town planning authority. So after that he will prepare working and detailed drawings. Okay, working and detailed drawings by the architects, structural drawings by the structural engineers. Okay, then supervision by architect, structural engineers will be done. Okay, supervision by architect, structural engineers. Okay, so when this is done, okay, this will be like this: supervision by architects and structural engineers. Then only the final bill can, then only payment of bill can be processed. Okay, then completion certificate by architect and plan sanctioning authority. Okay, okay, so this is a flow chart showing the stages in construction. Okay, so as I told you, there is a owner. Okay, he will appoint architect. Okay, then structural engineers will be appointed. Okay, then estimates and tender documents will be prepared. Okay, different estimates of the project. Okay, what is the project cost of the project, so that will all include in estimates. Okay, what are different works to be done, okay, under the project, so that will come in estimates and under documents. Then approval of the then appointment of the contractor. Okay, contractor will be appointed, then work will commencement of work will be there. Then, as I told you, periodical supervision, payment of bills to the contractor, structural engineer, okay, will be done. So payment of bills, then the work will be completed. So completion of work will be there. Then certificate will be issued of completion, that is a certificate of completion, and final bills will be prepared. So once the architect is appointed, architect has to sketch plans. Okay, he has to prepare first of all presentation drawings. Okay, he has to prepare PPT. Okay, on what he is going to execute. So what all the drawings details he has to prepare in his presentation drawings. So after presentation drawings, he has to prepare the summation drawings. It is the general layout of the drawings. Then in more details, like what is the working drawings. Okay, in working drawings, he has to show all the details in the drawings, like, okay, all the sizes of the doors, size of the rooms, all that he will be showing in working and detailed drawings. Then supervision by architects should be done. Supervision by architects and structural engineers, okay, on the site, whatever work is going on, the architect and the structural engineer should supervise the site. Okay, whether the quality is maintained, okay, whether they are putting proper steel, okay, RCC, they are putting required number of steel bars. So all that structural engineer will look into. So when he does all this work, then only the payment of bills can be done. Okay, so then completion certificate by the architect and the plan sanctioning authority. Finally, completion certificate by the architect, okay, will be given, and plan sanctioning authority. So these are the various stages, okay, stages in construction process. Okay, coming to various factors. Okay, what factors while selecting a site, what factors we need to consider? So there are various factors which one needs to consider, such as physical factors, health consideration, community facilities, transport facilities, and economy. So coming to physical consideration, the land, okay, the land and its surroundings should be fit for residential purposes. Like a peaceful environment should be there. Okay, peaceful environment and good landscape. Okay, peaceful environment and good landscape, and unobstructed flow of natural air. Now coming to soil conditions. Okay, in coming to soil conditions, the cost of foundation depends upon the its strata and the bearing capacity. So bearing capacity is the capacity of the soil to support the load which is applied to the ground. Generally hard muram is ideal, so it is necessary to test the bearing capacity of the soil. And then low-lying areas like marshy areas and lands located near rivers, reclaimed lands, are not suitable. Okay, so the water table level should not be too high and too low. Okay, a high water table will create a permanent dampness. Okay, and a very low water table will mean drawing water from wells and by pumps. And the second is health consideration. Land near industrial areas will prove to be unhealthy because of noise and air pollution. Okay, a good sewerage and efficient water supply are desirable in order to avoid trouble from flies and mosquitoes. Okay, coming to this community facilities. So community facilities include primary and secondary schools, then primary health centers, post offices, okay, shopping centers, then places of recreation, public gardens, playgrounds. So all this comes in community facilities. Then transportation facilities, like proximity to the bus stands and railway stations. So we need to select a site, okay, which is very near to the bus stand. We cannot select we usually don't want a site or a house to be located very far from the bus stand. So while deciding, okay, we need to look into this consideration. So this factor, like proximity to the bus stand and railway station, like a good approach roads from the main road, okay, up to the colony. Then also proximity to the place of work and cheapest means of transportation to the same. Then coming to the economy, Now the total cost of the land includes the cost of the land and the cost of the development. Okay, so it is necessary to ascertain the same in the beginning along with the clear ownership rights of the land. So these are the various factors which one will look into while selecting the site. Okay, now coming to very important subtopic, that is principles of planning. So we'll look what are the various principles of planning. So here are various principles you can see here. First one is the aspect, then prospect, privacy, circulation, roominess, grouping, elegance, sanitation, flexibility, economy, and practical consideration. So coming to the, we'll see all of this in more detail. So we'll coming to the first one, that is the aspect. We'll see in the next slide what is this aspect all about. So aspect means the peculiarity of the arrangement of doors and windows to the external wall of a building, which allows the occupant to enjoy the natural gifts such as sunshine and breeze. Okay, now a good aspect is desirable as it provides for comfortable conditions and cheerful atmosphere due to proper sunshine and breeze. Okay, it also gives better hygiene condition as the sun rays are potential destroyers of the organic poisons. Okay, it provides the external appearance of the building due to proper location of doors and windows. So in the aspect consideration should be given to the placement of different rooms of the house in accordance with our activities in the house during day and night. Okay, a room which receives light and air from a particular direction is said to have aspect of that direction. Okay, so thus in planning the desired aspect for various rooms are given as follows in the next slide. You can see here for the kitchen it will have an eastern aspect. In the morning sun refreshes and purifies the air and remains cool in the afternoon. Okay, and then in the living room it will have a south east aspect. The sun towards south in towards the south, the sun is towards the south in the winter, and hence living room remains warm. Okay, the sun is towards the north overhead or at higher altitude towards the south in summer, and this saves the living room with the southern aspect from getting unduly hot. Then comes the bedroom. It will have a west or southwest aspects. Okay, then okay, the next one is the dining room. It will have a south aspect. Okay, next veranda should have a west or southwest aspect. Next coming to prospect. Okay, a prospect means the view one can get when one looks through the doors and windows in the external walls. So it will create a good impression on a person who views it from the outside. So a building is said to have a good prospect when it presents a good and pleasing appearance when it is seen from the outside. So we can do this by giving small projections. Okay, or a bay windows can be provided. Okay, and it can give a good outlook, okay, to the building. You can see here this is a picture showing a very nice prospect of a bungalow. Okay, this is also a picture showing good prospect. Okay, the location of, see the doors, the shape of the doors. Okay, very nicely done. Okay, coming to privacy, it is one of the important principles while planning a residential building. So we have two kinds of privacies. We have the external privacy and internal privacy. So the privacy from the sides can be secured by providing planned entrance and paths. So we can do this by screening the front and the rear entrances. Now internal privacy can be easily obtained by proper planning of different areas and by location of doors and windows. Now the shutters when opened should give minimum view of the room for entering the persons. Then circulation. Circulation, as I told you, is a movement within the premises and includes both the horizontal circulation and the vertical circulation. So horizontal circulation, it means the access to the room on the same floor. It is achieved by proper provisions of passages, corridors, halls and lobbies. Then comes to vertical circulation. It means the access to the rooms on different floors. It is achieved by provision of stairs, staircases and electrical lifts. Okay, so all this is taken into consideration here. Then coming to roominess. Roominess means getting maximum advantage from minimum dimensions. Okay, like the shape and size of the room are also very important, okay, for roominess. Okay, while taking into consideration roominess, the rectangular room has more roominess than the square room. Okay, now the shape, a square room relatively appears smaller than the rectangular room of the same area. Okay, now height. The smaller rooms should not be made too high because they tend to produce a cave-like effect. So such rooms will appear smaller than their usual sizes. Now grouping. Coming to next principle is grouping. What do you mean by grouping? It means the arrangement of various rooms in the building, okay, for the convenience of the user. Like we need to group the following, like kitchen and dining should be very close to each other. Then keep in mind the store should be adjacent to the kitchen. Then toilet block should be far away from the kitchen. Then kitchen and toilet block should not be exposed to the drawing room, and bedroom should be connected to bath and less exposed to the drawing room. So all these factors should be taken while you're drawing a plan. Okay, while drawing, see that kitchen and dining is very close to each other. Then again kitchen, store and kitchen, group it in one, like store adjacent to kitchen. Then toilet block, just keep it far away from the kitchen. Okay, then again kitchen and toilet block should not be exposed to the living room or drawing room. Okay, then bedroom should be connected to bath and should be less exposed to the drawing room. Okay, coming to the next principle, that is on elegance. Now what is this elegance? It is the appearance of the building, okay, mainly owing to the elevation, which in turn depends on the plan. So how can it will depend upon how, like positioning of the doors, windows, balconies. Okay, then providing projections like sunshades. Okay, providing bay windows, okay, corner windows. You can see here, these are the bay windows. What do you mean by bay window? This is the projection, outer projection. Okay, you can see here space, so this is called as a bay window, projecting outwards. This is the elegance. This is the Fern Kadamba in Goa. Okay, very beautifully done, aesthetic wise, elegance, very good elegance it is showing. Okay, coming to next principle is sanitation. Then provision for cleanliness, lighting and ventilation in sanitary units. It will avoid the growth of bacteria, okay, and hence the spread of diseases. Okay, so skirting should be provided in rooms. Okay, very important. Coming to flexibility. Flexibility means that a room which is planned for one function can be used for the other. Okay, for example, the study room may be planned for using guest room. So study room can be used as a guest room. So it is, you can flexibility. So that flexibility. Okay, so flexibility can be achieved. Now coming to practical considerations. Okay, so after all the fundamental, some practical points should be additionally considered, right? Like we need to plan for future extension. So provision for future extension without dismantling, okay, should be planned. Then large rooms, okay, can be shortened by providing movable partitions, but smaller rooms cannot, okay, be enlarged easily. So the number of doors and windows should be minimum. Provisions for built-in furniture at proper places are useful from the point of view of the utility. So all these factors or practical considerations we should keep in mind while planning. So with this practical consideration, okay, I come to the end of this lecture. Okay.